I was watching a foundation review the other day that like one of the bigger YouTubers had done. She's not one that I typically watch, but I was watching it, and she was talking about how the foundation wasn't sitting right in her like nose creases, and she was this far away, and was just like, "See, can't you see? It doesn't look right." And you could totally tell that there was like a filter on the video too, so like it looked perfect. And I'm only mentioning it because I promise you, I would rather you see my skin gross than ever do that, because as someone who was watching the video, it was very frustrating. But anyway, hi, here I am today with another foundation review. They're often my favorite products to review because it's just like fun and everyone's going to have a different experience. But if I can help you out at all, I would like to. I do have a combination skin, which I don't often tell you at the beginning of the video, but I should. It's combo to dry, so I get a little bit oily in my forehead, but for the most part, the rest of my face is like as dry as a desert. And the foundation we are talking about today is actually the Maybelline Dream Cushion Foundation. I have been very adamant on my channel and in life in the past about how much I don't like cushion foundations, because typically you're getting significantly less product for a significantly higher price, and it's the same as putting it on with a makeup sponge. But this one launched, and I was hearing a lot of good things. And then when I actually went to the store to check it out, it was not as expensive as I thought it was. It was about the same price as the rest of the Maybelline foundations. A little bit more expensive, but like when the L'Oreal Lumi launched last year, that's like a $22 Canadian foundation. So like, no thanks, but this one was not so bad. I have mine in the lightest shade, which is 10 Porcelain, surprising no one. And yeah, so before I get any farther into my thoughts on this foundation, I thought I would read you some stuff from the Maybelline website. On the Maybelline website here, it says it comes in 6 shades, which I thought there was more of the shades than that, but 6 shades here, and it retails for $15.99 Canadian. When I bought mine at Walmart, I believe it was $14.99. Drugstores usually tend to vary in price depending on where you are. And what it says about the foundation is, what it is: Dream Cushion Fresh Face Liquid Foundation delivers complete luminous coverage for fresh-faced perfection. Benefits: Maybelline's increased color pigments deliver complete luminous coverage for fresh-faced perfection on the go. How to apply: use the sponge applicator and press into cushion. Tap the applicator on the forehead, nose, and cheeks and chin. Blend all over using gentle downward strokes in a tapping motion. Just a side note here, I'm noticing it says medium coverage on the back of the package, but on the website it said full coverage. That's weird. So I actually don't use the little spongy thing that came with this foundation. I planned to, because I figure you should be using the applicator that the foundation comes with. It's made for that, but this is like a really cheap, flimsy sponge. Like, I expected it to be higher quality than this, and it's not. And because it's so cheap, I can't wash it. If I try to wash this, it'll fall apart. And anybody with acne knows you do not put things that you can't wash on your face. You have to wash it after every use to keep the zits away. So that scares me. So I actually don't use this. What I use is my Real Technique sponge, and you just pop this open, and I dip it into the sponge. My sponge is dirty because I used it to put this foundation on today, but I had been testing this foundation out for a couple of days now, so this is not a first impression. I know what I'm talking about here. So what I will give this foundation is it looks very good when you first put it on. It doesn't, I wouldn't say gives you full coverage, but it gives you like a really like high medium coverage. It definitely cancels out my spots and all of that. It was on very nicely. I find the shade range of this foundation is a little more natural than, like, if you remember, I did the Dream Velvet foundation review last year, and that one was like every shade was either yellow or pink, and this one seems a little more like neutrally. It matches my skin almost perfectly. If you can see right here, the difference between my face and my chest is like nothing. It's the same. So that's great. So it does apply very well, very evenly, nicely. My problem with this foundation, though, is the wear. If I'm putting on a foundation, I need it to last 8 hours and still look good, because that's my whole day, from like when I'm getting ready for work to the end of whatever I've done after work. That's just how it has to be for me, and I don't find that this foundation lasts very well. The first time that I tested this, which is the footage that you're going to see, I didn't wear a primer underneath it, and it did not wear very well. But then after that, I tried it with other primers. I tried it with like smoothing primers, and I tried it with like the Max Strobe Cream and the Hangover RX primer, and it kind of reacted the same over the board. Primer didn't really seem to make a big difference, and what the problem with this is that it really breaks apart. It becomes really like pilly and looks like little dots all over my face. I actually turned my shooting lights off to show you it in more like natural light, because I really feel like you can see the texture on my skin better that way, and it was just not sitting very, very nicely. I wasn't comfortable with how it looked. So my thoughts on this foundation, it's kind of sad because I've seen everybody else talk about it like it's amazing, and it is very good for the first couple of hours, but if you're going to have this on for a long time, I don't love it as much. Maybe if you want to take it with you and use a little sponge and touch it up as you go throughout the day, then maybe you'll love it. Like, maybe that is the practical answer for you. But for me, that's just not. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to touch up my foundation throughout the day. I want to put it on once and just leave it and not have to do it again, you know? So, I don't hate this foundation. I will keep it around here and I will use it, but I will only use it for days that I know are going to be short days because it doesn't look nice for a whole day. I will say, though, that I do like the finish. I've heard a lot of stuff about this foundation, how it's not supposed to be as glowy as other cushion foundations. It's supposed to be a little more like a satin matte type deal, and I really do find the finish of it after you're done to look very like natural. You can set it with powder if you want to, but you don't have to. I do, depending on what my skin is doing and what the weather is like. If I feel like it's not drying down, I will set it with powder, but I don't feel like I have to. But that breakdown, though, that look on like my chin, and I feel like nothing I've done with this other than reapplying it really helps it last as long as I wanted to. So like I said, you really might like this, but I personally can't recommend it because longevity is what matters to me. I want it to look as good 10 hours after I put it on as it does, you know, when I first put it on, or at least mostly still good. I can live with a little bit of breakdown, but it's broke down a little bit too much for me. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the Maybelline Dream Cushion Foundation. If you have tried this foundation, what did you think of it? I definitely feel like I have a very different opinion of it than like most of the world, so I accept that. I accept that. What did you think if you tried it? Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed already, and I will see you later. Bye!